What type of merchandise have you taken from these stores?
Meat.
In other words, groceries, staple items. I see.
What was the general trend of talk
I don't know.
in that area when this stuff was going on? I mean, did you hear somebody make a comment about why they did this or who they should get next? You didn't hear nothing? I mean, you were curious, weren't you?
Well, yeah.
Wouldn't you say, well, gee, I wonder why they got Mr. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so?
Yeah, well, see, I did say that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him that about Schulman, you know, Mr. Schulman.
Mr. Schulman.
You know, I asked him about Mr. Schulman because he know all of them, you know, and like the lady that owns Uptown 5 and 10,
Right.
you know. Same way with Mr. I wasn't too acquainted with him.
Mr. Platt.
Yeah. Well, in the economy market, you know, people begged him to spare them, you know. They did.
Begged them to what?
Spare him.
Spare him. Oh, they didn't want him burned down.
No.
You get much loot from any of these stores, V? What, primarily, what did you do?
Police officer was standing right there. You know,
Right, where?
state police. I'm right in front of the school.
Would that be Cullen's Market?
No.
You know where that's at? You mean the police stood by while you broke into a place?
No, not while I broke in.
Sorry, I misunderstood you. What did you say about the police?
They were standing guard there.
Well, how did you get in?
I just walked in.
And the police says, just go ahead, help yourself.
And so did the owner. Take what you want, but don't burn.
I see. You know where the Heron Hill supermarket is?
In other words, the owner gave you permission prior to the police saying anything.
That's
In other words,
right.
the police didn't come out in the street and invite you into this
Oh, no,
place.
no.
It was the owner.
Well,
Okay.
what grocery store was that?
It was
you...
Stan's.
See, this is what I was going to ask you. If the owner gave you permission, what grocery store was it? It was Stan's. I see.
And
I think what you're trying to do now, you're trying to hedge. We do know that there was 3 or 4 stores where the owners did permit the public to take whatever they wanted after the damage had been done. But we have information, we have pictures which indicate that you were in places other than that where you weren't permitted to go in. Follow me?
yeah.
Well, if we showed you pictures, we can show that they were taken at a certain time by a certain officer who will testify in court. What would you say if your picture appeared on those pictures as it does? What would you say to that?
That's what I could say.
In other words, you'd have to admit that
You would have to admit.
In other words, in essence, what you are doing, you are admitting that you were in some of these dwellings without permission, even though we have the pictures or don't have them. Of course, we have told you we do have pictures. So we know that you were in.
Is there any reason why you would not admit to these burglaries?
Sure.
Why?
If you broke a window or kicked the door open and 1,000 other people ran into a store, as y'all come out, I'll go in. And why should I get busted? Why should I say, well, I broke into it?
You don't want to fall for the original burglary offense, although you will admit that after the place was broken into or burnt down, you did partake in taking some items, which might have been clothing or food or...
No, I didn't take any clothes.
Other stuff.
I did not take any clothes.
Well, where were these areas where you stole this food from? Which stores?
After the windows were broken or burned down or the doors caved.
You just described.
Well, I did take some from the economy market.
You see, this is why I told you, to be honest with you here,
He asked you twice about the economy.
About the economy market.
And you knew.
We have certain information to that effect, you understand. And what other...
Well, let me stop here. Let's put it this way. Now, you know right now, you're fairly intelligent, I think, because of the fact that you do have 12 years of schooling. You know that we know something. Am I right?
Of course.
So you can tell by the trend of questioning some of the points that he's brought out and Canvas and myself. And we told you about pictures and you indicated you have been in it. Now, you know we know something. We're not trying to get something you didn't do. Why don't you cooperate with us?
Oh, then you were saying now that I started this civil disorder.
Oh,
No.
No.
See here.
That's the worst thing we want to discuss here. We didn't. We're not blaming on any one person. This was committed by a group. This was committed by people in general. No, we're not discussing.
All we want is the truth. In other words, if you were part of a group, you understand, that participated in some of this looting and stealing of the food, whatever it was, all we want you to do is tell the truth. Do you want to tell the truth?
Yeah, I'll tell the truth.
Well then, how many stores, if you want to tell the truth, did you actually go into?
4.
All right. You went into Stein's with permission, is that correct?
That's right.
All right. And the other store?
Signs on again?
Raleigh Avenue.
Oh, that's right.
And the other one that you were given permission to go into was on Center Avenue?
Yeah.
Or is that a bunch of malarkey?
No, it was on Center Avenue.
All right. What was the name?
Selevsky's.
Slutsky's.
Yeah, Selevsky's.
Slutsky's. And you were granted permission. That's on Center
Center
Avenue.
Avenue.
All right.
All right, look, before we go any further, this looting that you participated in, like taking this meat and some of this small stuff, this is as far as it goes. You're not going to be prosecuted on this. Matter of fact, when we go out that door, we're going to forget about these items you've taken. This is my promise. Understand?
Thank you.
So from here in, you'll know how to feel about us. Prior to these troubles up there, we always get information. You know, somebody will come along and say, well, gee, they're going to hit such and such a place on such and such a night now. Forthcoming, do you know of any things that might happen? Have you heard any rumors that they're going to hit this place, that place, or a series of places? Haven't heard anything.
And then that's where we go back to your point, that they just wander like sheep. Was it you?
No, I told you that. I says that they're just like sheep, and sometimes you can steer them, and they can't think for themselves.
Well, that's what kind of people are there.
The loafs there, you mean that they're easily led?
Yes.
Well then, when a person is easily led, usually it takes a leader though, you know, somebody to lead them. In this case, who would be the leaders up there?
Well, Ellis.
Ellis, I see.
And he publishes a monthly, some kind of a newspaper or something.
What's the name of that?
I don't know. It's, I just read,
What is it, a dirt catcher?
Yeah.
Do you know of anyone else involved with this?
Other than Ellis.
Leaders besides Alice?
Who would be his fellows that are with him?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I just know that he's the big chief.
He's the big chief. Well, generally, when a disorder erupts, you know, in a hill or any place, there's usually a leader and information advanced.
Well, wait a minute. We're doing civil disorder. Like I said, if you recall, that I was in the bar when I first started, and it was led by a female.
Do you know this female?
Yeah, a fit girl named Bobby. What?
She on the tracks? She hustle?
She had broads hustle for her.
Have you seen her at the halfway art gallery?
I seen her by me.
Do you hear what common knowledge, or what do you generally hear about what goes on up there? What do they talk about when they talk about the art galleries?
How good the dope is, how they smoke reefer up there. Well, I don't know that kind of stuff.
Are you under narcotics in any manner?
No.
Ever?
Well, I had.
You kick it? How long ago?
Yeah. I never was addicted.
What did you use?
Say.
What did you use?
Oh, heroin.
Heroin. Have you ever attended any meetings there?
Well, I had the intentions on attending a meeting at the halfway art gallery.
What kind of meeting would that have been?
Well,
I mean, we know what.
No, you can talk, Frank.
Yeah.
I mean, we
see.
So you're charged with the burglary of Marine's Restaurant?
Yeah, I don't even know what that's.
Marine's Restaurant. I see. And also charged with the burglary of Fulton Outlaw's residence on Wyandotte Street. I see.
And I don't know nothing about that.
I see.
I mean, I'm on the level.
Okay.
You need a little help on this?
On that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough said.
No, but I'm serious.
This will be kept in strictest confidence.
Well, I mean,
but believe me when I tell you this. I think your head's in a little while. You understand? What's the purpose of going down here? What's discussed down here is what we're trying to determine here. Do you understand? What's the general nature of what's discussed? Are you taught anything? Are you told anything? Are you advised by anybody to do anything?
Well, no.
Now, say I would want to get a hold of this magazine or this newspaper to print it. I couldn't just go up and buy one or something.
No.
I mean, is it how would I go about purchasing it? Say I'm a colored fellow, right? And I would go up and I would want, say, this magazine or newspaper, whatever the case may be. Now, how would I go about purchasing one of these?
Well, you see somebody that feeds in it, you know.
In other words, you'd have access to this newspaper, whereas if you were a white man, naturally you couldn't get it. Do you have any reasons to believe that there might be some communists that hang out in this place or frequent this place or maybe tutor or try to influence some of these young colored boys and girls that you were talking about?
Well,
You're not sure.
No possibility. I'm not sure.
You ever see any other pictures on the walls of anybody other than Americans, the American flag?
Well, I didn't. Well, yeah, I mean, they had folks, you know. They says that they were discussing the matter of Hitler.
Who was telling you about it?
It was just a discussion in front of our halfway art gallery. Winning Tyrone was telling me.
Tyrone.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you could tell us about the halfway art gallery? Because indirectly, there's a lot of people who are going to be affected if something else develops in the line of a disturbance. Is there anything else that you could add that maybe we should know or have some idea about?
Anything that's going on that you'd like us to know? In view of the fact that we treat you fairly?
And this would be kept strictly confidential between us. It will never leave the room.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't care, you
No,
know.
we're
had a lot of narrow-minded friends that be going on.
Well, this is the predicament we're in here today. You understand? There's a lot of narrow-minded people on both sides. But I'm saying this in order to alleviate a situation or to have eased the tension. What would you suggest? I mean, you're on the street now. You're close to this situation, this problem. What would you suggest?
You can make a step. Like that police officer that busted me yesterday.
Yes.
Perfect example right there. Think I get somebody to smuggle him in? You know? Mm-hmm. And he can make a purchase there. You know? And I know narcotics close anything.
Narcotics will close down the church, I think, if it's being passed there, right? Almost. I see.
That's your way in.
Do you feel that there is going to be more trouble?
I know there is.
Do you think it's going to be worse than what we had here last April?
I don't know. I couldn't say. I mean, it's going to be
as far as
long as that art gallery is still standing.
But knowing how you feel about this particular case here,
Especially the narcotics end of it.
would you be willing to go along and be part of an undercover investigative team? In other words, to be counter-espionage type thing.
Well, I'd make you this deal, you make me one deal. You can squash that for me and I'll get the art gallery squashed.
Well, you understand, we've been, we just don't squash things because we don't have that in our power here. You understand? If let's see what happens here.
We'll have the detectives take you back up. Are you going to take your food with you, V?
Yeah.
Take it all up with you. And I'll take you back up there, and I'll talk to the detectives who work on this case. That was Bailey and Grayson, right?
No.
Well, they got you later.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, Bailey, there's no kind of way in the world Bailey or Grayson could get in the art gallery.
I know.
Buy nothing.
Oh, no, we know that. Everybody knows them.
But it would be better if we already got someone who has already been accepted by this group, rather than bringing in someone who is relatively new, who they don't trust or don't even know that well.
Not that you'd have to testify at a later date, but to assist us in maybe closing this place down.
For that.
The crux of the trouble in here was right up at his place. A lot of
Halfway art gallery.
yeah, the art gallery. He says a lot of the boys are going up there. He thinks they're selling dope up there. We'll turn that over if you want to one of the other squads. If you want that checked out further. He has no rumors concerning any forthcoming troubles other than general rumors up there all the time that they're going to hit again, they're going to hit, but he doesn't know where, why, or when. He doesn't appear to be one that's involved in this too much. He doesn't bleed too much in it. He says, of course, he goes along like the rest of the crowd, you know. But do you want us to convey this information to somebody?
I don't think that's anything new that they're screwing around with junk if they have.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think
You knew this. I guess we all knew this was going on.
Well, if narcotics doesn't know that, then they oughtn't to be in the job they're in. That's rather well mine. Okay, that's...
We didn't get nothing big on him outside of...
outside of those pork chops.
Pork chops and stuff. Okay.